Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It is now time for your public safety building construction update. We'll probably changed that title a few times since we started this, but we haven't changed Jared. Jared's still here and ready to give us another update. Boy, Jared, talk about right now outside, it's like 60 degrees. 2 weeks ago, it was negative, felt like negative 60 degrees.
Sure.
But it's been a whirlwind for construction. How's it going out there?
It's going good today. We're in that, what do we call that here in Wisconsin, the fall spring period?
Is it second winter?
Right?
Is it third winter?
I don't know.
Third spring? Or whatever? Yeah.
No, but yes, been, again, roller coaster with the weather. And even on a day like today, right, it's beautiful outside, but it's pretty windy. So, we'll talk a little more later about some of the formwork and things that are happening. But, got to be mindful of all weather conditions, from the cold, the wind, to...
Well, I was thinking the mud, too. We're going to talk about mud today.
Absolutely.
All this thawing just brings so much to light.
Mother Nature can't make up its mind.
One thing that I think people will probably have noticed, and you talked about this last time, is the wall. Once they got started on those walls, the concrete walls, wow, even though it's like you can't say it's that fast, it's pretty quick how quick they can go up. So talk about the two walls that you probably see out there right now.
Yeah, definitely. So on the east side of the site, you'll see the tall concrete walls, which form the parking garage. So J.P. Cullen's 2 pours in. They're working their way through the jog of the building. And then once they kind of hit the straight run to kind of tie into Lacey Road, you'll be seeing about a pour every 4 days or so. So that'll start to come together very quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see how that comes down. And building that structure that they're putting in place, what goes behind that for standing that up? So for somebody who's looking at this it looks like they're like building something around it, and all of a sudden, wall.
Yeah, so great question. Really they start with the formwork, right? They pre-assemble the forms together. We call it ganging them together, so that's where you attach a bunch of them as one giant form. They'll form up one side of the wall. They'll set one mat of rebar. These walls have 2 mats. Set the first mat of rebar. There's rigid insulation inside of these walls, so it's kind of like a sandwich wall, 2 separate walls separated by a layer of 3-inch insulation. Once that insulation gets set, they'll set the second layer of rebar, and then they'll close up the wall, set up the other side of the forms. Tie everything together to the deadman that we talked about last time to kind of help with the concrete pressures that will be pushing out when the wall is poured. And then they'll get it ready to pour, and then they've been bucket pouring all these walls. There's certain concrete placement factors that they have to adhere by. They can't just dump concrete into the wall.
Straight fill? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
so there's
Makes
certain
sense.
pour rates that they have to hit with this type of system. So you'll see them crane and bucket pouring most of these walls.
Interesting. I did not know. Fun fact. Who knew? It's pretty cool. And then I guess moving forward here, there's more walls now. Now you're off and running. So you're just going to see this triple.
yeah. You're going to see walls start to show up. They'll work, like I said, north to south. Then they'll hit Lacey Road and head to the west. And then they'll be chasing the walls that they started with backfill, drain tile, waterproofing. So you'll start to see kind of a whole operation take place as they progress further on these wall pours.
You talk a little bit about the grading. How do they do that with the ground being frozen? Like, how are they? I saw them doing it. I was like, isn't there like frost on the ground here?
Yeah, so they have ground thaw machines on the site that pump glycol around through kind of tubes that they lay on top of the soil or the earth. And what they're doing for that is, like you said, the ground is frozen, so there's drain tile on the inside of the building to get rid of any water that makes its way through. So they obviously have to kind of thaw the ground, excavate the soil, install the drain tile, then backfill. So they're using glycol machines to thaw the earth.
All right. Well, if that wasn't crazy enough, once you do get thawing, you get mud. And a concern and something that is pre-thought ahead of time is vehicles coming and going from the job site can create quite a mess.
Yes.
But there is something that is a step taken to make sure that you do not have that stuff in the street, because we don't want it to go into storm sewers.
Exactly. Into the storm sewers, just a nuisance for cars that are traveling through. There's a couple things that are happening on the site. So what we call like a tracking pad, which is kind of some riprap, large boulders to kind of knock off the mud as the concrete trucks and delivery trucks are leaving the site. Eventually, there'll be dirt on the road, right? And basically, JP Cullen has a skid steer on site with a broom attachment that they try to chase the trucks out. It's kind of inevitable in this time of year in the state of the project where, they obviously need deliveries for concrete to pour those walls and things to get onto the site, but they're doing their best to kind of keep up with it. So, so far so good, but we'll definitely make sure that, they stick to it and are taking good care of the city streets here.
All right. Well, looking ahead here now, you've kind of mentioned where this is heading, but masonry work will be coming up. So after you kind of get these walls in place, what is masonry for people maybe not familiar, and where will that be happening?
Yeah, so about the first week of March, the JP Cullen will start to mobilize the masons. So that's the big silos that they mix the mortar. Those will show up. And then they'll start picking off like the elevator cores, the stair cores. So one in the center of the building and two on the wings. They'll start to run. So you'll see these block towers start to emerge from the hole in the ground, and they'll be at the final elevation. So yeah, they'll be getting going on that in March, and probably about a month of the towers going up, and then we do have CMU backup walls on the parking garage as well. So that'll start to take place kind of probably April-ish.
And then following that, you've got some structural steel coming in.
Yeah, the JP Cullen's trying to sequence, give everybody a little room on the site. So the plan is to start the masons in March, and then start to bring the ironworkers in just after they're done in April. So yeah, they're two big operations that need a lot of space, and they've done a good job of trying to sequence and plan that out. So yes, in April you'll start to see a crane and some structural steel kind of just show up on the site.
Another crane?
Potentially. I know
don't overpromise this.
Well,
there are kids out there that have been watching this closely. So
well, I know for sure when they get to precast, we'll be getting a different crane, but a bigger one.
I'm holding you to it.
Yeah,
Note to self:
yeah.
ask about crane next episode. Okay,
yes, sir.
Got it. And then geothermal as well. So geothermal coming in as part of this project. A lot of green features as a part of this project, which we'll talk about as we get down the line here. But this is one that maybe people have heard about.
Yep. So there'll be geothermal wells on the project. Those are located kind of underneath the parking lot on the site. So in April here, where JP Cullen's trying to bring in the driller to get started. That is a long, messy operation.
That's mud. I remember when they did it for the library over here. It was very interesting to watch, but very wow, that's a lot of mud.
It is a muddy mess, which perfect time of year for that to go with the mud we already have. But it's also a very long duration. It can take anywhere from 2 to 3 days to drill a single hole all the way down. So, we're upwards of 40 on this project. So
I was just going to say how many fields you have, or in the field there, how many you have, but that's 40. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Well, a lot is happening, and the weather is just going to keep doing whatever the weather does. But as you told us from the beginning, you plan for this. So, is it working in your favor, I guess, so far?
Yeah, like I said, they have weather days built into the schedule. With that week we lost previously, that was a little more than we were anticipating. But, they're making up time. This week looks good, and they kind of figure a day a week lost time. And, any weeks where we get a full week obviously gains time on the back end. But big picture-wise, JP Cullen's still on track, still looking to deliver this building in April. And get this open for the police department. So.
All right, fantastic, Jared. Well, we'll catch back up with you next month and look forward to having some more conversations. And I will ask you about the crane again, too.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy.